What's up, friends and family and strangers across the world? Welcome to another episode of Ryan and Real Estate. Today we're talking about a great question that a lot of people have, which is, when is this market going to actually cool off? But before we do that, take a minute. Click the subscribe button. It's not that difficult. Watch. There it is. Click it. Ring the bell. Give us a comment. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask. I know we don't hit every topic, but if you have any questions or there's another topic you'd like me to cover, again, put that in the comments. I'd love to help answer any questions you can. Obviously, this is mainly toward the Houston real estate market, but you could probably apply most of the content we give anywhere you live in at. Okay, when is the market going to cool off? Before I answer that question, what I will quickly do is say, what is the cause of why the market is in the spot that it is? And if to answer that question, I would encourage you to go to our link of Ryan and Real Estate, our little playlist here, and there's an episode that I did on what is causing low inventory, which is causing this market to be crazy. So check that out. But the quick answer to that is, number one, buyer demand through the roof, especially the millennial generation, largest generation we have, and they are really stepping up, wanting to buy, spend that money. Low interest rates, that's another reason, and low inventory, which is a lot to do with the fact that sellers are choosing not to do anything during the pandemic, and more buyers are choosing to do something than sellers are. And then, of course, low interest rates, which is encouraging those buyers to get out there and buy. So when is the market going to cool off? The quick answer is the opposite of all those things, but to give you more direction, here's what I would say. Number one, when we see a significant rise in interest rates, because lower interest rates, and the Feds really did us a help there, they lowered those interest rates to help us be able to increase affordability for people to get out there. Hey, it's the lowest interest rates we ever have. Probably the best time to ever go buy a home. That's what's gotten more buyer demand up. It encouraged millennials to get out there, it made affordability better. So rising interest rates, and we do predict those to rise. You probably won't get anything crazy that would keep you from wanting to buy a home, but when we start creeping those up, it may make some buyers go, do I really want to buy now when the interest rates are rising? Because the higher they rise, the harder it is to get the typical monthly payment that you may want. Number two, which really goes hand in hand with the first one, which is affordability decreases. So homes are at an all-time high price, and I would say incomes and salaries have not followed suit with that. In fact, not only have salaries not increased, but we are now seeing 7.5%, 8% inflation currently, one of the highest it's been since 1982. That being the case, things cost more, interest rates are rising, and inflation is at an all-time high in the last few decades. That being said, that makes it a lot more difficult to afford a home. So the less buyers, the less competition, and the less crazy this all be. Next thing is this: when we start to see that the supply chain is getting better, meaning more shelves are being filled up with more stuff that's sitting there a little bit, we're not having a hard time waiting on lumber and bricks and other materials. That's part of what's slowed things down, is that we've had a lot of new construction and wanting to build new construction, but we just don't have the labor or more importantly, the materials. So when we see our supply chain getting a little bit better, then they're able to build more homes and meet the current buyer demand. Another thing is, obviously the big one, I think, would be when we see the pandemic going to an endemic. And when we see that happening, I think it's going to bring some, and again, these are all variables, and I think kind of all cross each other a little bit, and maybe we need 5 out of the 6 to be happening at the same time to really see this cool off. But pandemic is, when it started, I didn't expect the market to do what it's done. But I do think when the pandemic becomes more of an endemic, people will start to feel a little bit more stable, a little bit more like I can make a big decision like selling my home, and then we'll see more sellers going, all right, I'm ready to make the move. I know what life's going to look like for the next 10 years, and so I can make this big change. So I think that's a big thing, especially for those sellers that are kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. The last thing that I would say, and I think this is a big factor, will be when we start seeing foreclosures enter the market, which I do believe we're going to see that because The defaults on mortgages, they're now allowing that, where at some point they were having a default protection on mortgages. When we see foreclosures, which we are starting to see, when we see a lot of those hit the market, I do believe there will be some investment opportunities for you too, or if you just want to kind of get a better deal in a home, I think we're going to see almost like I wouldn't say a flood, but a light raining of foreclosures. When that happens, again, more inventory is coming in the market, which makes it kind of an even level field. Let me just tell you this, as a real estate agent, we handle all types of market, but this has been crazy. As a listing agent, it's great, when you get a home in the market, it's going to sell for top dollar, but then you got to help that client find another home. As a buyer's agent, helping someone to buy a home, it's just like, we're doing everything we can to do that, and we're going to work hard, but if you're a buyer, I know you're exhausted. Hopefully, we want a balanced market where everybody gets a little bit of something. So that being said, that is what I see. When is that going to happen? Maybe toward the middle to the end of the year or beginning of next year is what I believe. But look at all those factors, and when you see a lot of those aligning, that's when I could guess we're going to start seeing the market cool down just a little bit. Again, if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. Let us know if we can do anything for you. Ryan Adams, Adams Group at Compass. We'll see you next time.